I would like to call Iberia Parish Council meeting November the 18th, 2020 to order. The time is 6 o'clock. We'll begin with the prayer by Chad and the pledge by James.
So recite the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. Amen.
James, pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you, James. Roll call. Brenda?
Tommy Pollard,
Here.
Michael Landry,
Here.
Brad Davis,
Here.
Lloyd Brown, Warren Goshasane,
Here.
Natalie Broussard, Paul Landry,
Here.
James Trahan,
here.
Scott Ronsonet, Eugene Olivier,
Here.
Brian Napier,
Here.
Lady Fontenette Brown, Marty Trahan, Chad Montreal.
Here. Thank you, Brenda. We have a quorum. I need a motion to go into public comments. Moved by Lloyd. Need a second? Second by Michael. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it. So moved. Policy allows for 3 minutes per person. Number one, comments from the general public on non-agenda items. Anyone like to have comment on non-agenda items? If not, we'll go to number two, comment from the general public on agenda items. Person being considered for appointments to parish board to address the council. We have Mr. Buddy Smith. Want to address the council?
How y'all doing? My name is Jerome Smith. Most of you know me as Buddy. I'm applying for a seat on the Iberia Parish Communication District Board as the New Iberia Fire Department representative. I've been with the fire department for 21 years. I've been serving on the Communication District Board since 2014. I've been the vice chairman of that board since 2018. And I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank y'all. Good job.
Serving.
Next, we have Jay Leger, applying for the Mosquito Board Commission.
Hello and good evening. I guess y'all can hear me. I don't know. I recently got a notice that my tenure for this 2 years is up. And I was also informed that I had an option on another 2 years. And I got the information. I have applied for it. And I would appreciate your consideration for that position for another 2 years. I've been in Iberia Parish for 55 years, 50, close to that. I'm a retired educator. I spent 15 years in the classroom. I've spent 35 years as principal of Dotson Elementary School down the street. Been married to the same lady for 58 years, I believe, or 59. So I would appreciate your consideration for the next 2 years serving on the Mosquito Abatement District. Lloyd Brown, I just got to say something about him. It run me off if you want to, but Lloyd Brown's been around. When we started this Mosquito Abatement District, I don't know, 12 or 13 years ago, something like that. Lloyd Brown was there and gave us his support, so I just wanted to tell him hello. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
That's something against you.
If there's no one else to address the council, I need a motion to go back to the regular session. Moved by Warren, second by Tommy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Reports, finance and administrative action. There is none. Reports, parish or other governmental agency. Number one, monthly billing report dated October 2020. That's in your package. Public work reports, there is none. Special business, there is none. Council member announcements. Anyone?
I'm going to have an announcement.
Paul?
I know a couple of us have been talking about these budgets and stuff, and, I'm really concerned about it. I was talking to an individual the other day, they run a tractor place, and we were talking that he normally has 40 tractors on the lot, and right now he has 4 or 5. And I didn't think about it till he said, that's really going to affect your inventory tax come January 1st. So just another thing in my mind that makes me, concerned about the money coming in next year. And you look at all these adjustments we have, we've never had this many before. We were always able to kind of do them during the year and stuff. There was never this big of a swing. Then I read on the news this morning that Amazon has opened a pharmacy department that they'll be able to send you medicine. And yesterday, CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aids, all their stocks tumbled pretty big, So, how's that going to affect the medical side of it, for pharmacies? Will they have layoffs? In the paper yesterday, we saw where Avex is laying off, are the planes going to come back? It looks like, that'll be okay and everything. But I just think we really, really need to, think before when we get into these budgets. I'm really concerned about the money. I don't want to have to do things later on next year to make corrections. I would rather hit it January 1st. We were lucky with the hurricanes. Lake Charles is going to come back, but they have a lot of big businesses there. It would have been a little bit tougher for us. So I just really hope when we got to come and look at the budget, we do the right thing and, maybe make the cuts that we got to do now, down the road and everything. So that's all I got to say. Hopefully we get it done quick.
Thank you, Paul.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to
Warren?
remark. Paul, I'm glad to hear you say that. I know sometimes we've been on the opposite sides of the ball when it came to making big and critical cuts from 2016 on. It scares me too. We've been having this discussion about cash flow, about the way the economy is. We thought that millages were going to hold us because they've been flat, and it seems now that than ever, like you said, the tractors. I mean, a lot of these companies are having supply issues, which trickle down to us. And to see tonight that we're going to refinance bonds, which we have no choice, arms tied, it's scary. I mean, people, we can only do what we can do with, but it seems like we're at the thin bone now. This is it. I mean, it's either do or die here, and it's that critical. I mean, so I'm hoping the right decisions are made, not based on politics, but based on policy, and to get this parish turned around. Because if the economy keeps tanking the way it is, I mean, we're going to see some things we've never seen before in this government. So,
Thank you, Warren. Anyone else? I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish the general public a happy Thanksgiving, because we want to see us again until December. And please, whatever you do, stay safe. This coronavirus is still out there. The numbers are climbing, so do what's necessary to please stay safe. And we can maybe celebrate Christmas at the end of the year. Thank you. Okay, moving on to parish president announcement. Larry?
Okay, starting off with Public Works for the last couple of weeks. In District 13, we've been doing some catch basin work. We've been doing field drainage work in District 11, road grading work in District 6 and District 8. We did some road crossing work in District 9, road patching work in District 2, District 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. The one thing, and listen, I agree with what Paul and what Warren just said. We've been doing our very best since 2016 with the budget. We made a lot of cuts. I think the way it looks right now, the economy, I don't see a big change for the better right now. So the budget is what it is. We're going to have to work with it, and we have made some cuts, and we're going to have to definitely work with it. Right now, I'm going to talk a little bit about COVID, if you guys don't mind. Today, our percent positivity in Iberia Parish is 11.30%. 11.30%. Last week was at 4.60%, and I guess all of you know that if you stay at 10 or above for 2 weeks, we got some issues that could present itself. Hopefully, everything works out to where our numbers go below or at 10 for next one. But I'm going to give you a list of what's going on in this region, not just Iberia Parish. In Lafayette, they're at 10.10%. Last Wednesday, they was at 4.70%. St. Martin is at 12.00%. Last week, they was at 9.80%. St. Landers at 11%. Last week, they was at 6.5%. Acadia is at 10.50%. Last week, they was at 8%. Evangeline is at 10.10. They actually went down. Last week, they was at 10.40. Vermilion Parish is the only parish in our region that's under 10% positivity right now, and that's at 7.30 from last week being 4.30. We have some serious things ahead of us. These numbers picked up drastically over the last couple of weeks. Over the last couple of weeks, we have 389 positive cases in Iberia Parish. And if you remember, we were doing very, very, very well with numbers being like the 4s and the 5s and the 6 and not a whole lot of death going on. We're still fortunate compared to some. Our death right now, we're at 103 deaths in Iberia Parish. From last week, I think it was at 99 deaths. So our numbers they're certainly not looking good. I'm looking at my spreadsheet right now. On November the 12th, we was at 99 deaths, and as of November the 16th, we was at 103. So we're standing still from November the 16th. So COVID is definitely alive and well in this whole region. So hopefully our numbers again come underneath 10% positivity on next Wednesday, because if not, then we're going to have to start going backwards. So my recommendation to the people of Iberia Parish is to continue to wear your mask, continue to social distance, continue to wash your hands, do the things that we are hearing from the CDC to try to stay safe and protect yourself and protect your family. I did have a conversation this morning with Dion, the CEO of Iberia Medical Center, and Dr. Stefanski. In Iberia Parish, at the hospital, we should be somewhere around 5 patients in the hospital right now. So we don't have a lot of patients in our hospital. It appears that Lafayette General Hospital have a bit more. So I'm not going to go on and on about COVID, but COVID is alive and well, so please protect yourself. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to go ahead on and end my report, and then if anyone have any questions, just ask me some questions or whatever. But thank you guys, Mr. Chairman. I'm ready for the remainder of your meeting.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Larry right now? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. Minutes, regular meeting, October 28, 2020. Minutes, regular meeting of November the 4th, 2020. Summary number 161, introduced by the parish president. A resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement for GIS mapping of Iberia Parish for 2020. Summary number 162, introduced by Lloyd Brown, District 4. A resolution of condolence to the family of Mr. Melvin Small, brother of the former Councilman Stanley Small, who passed away October the 30th, 2020. And we have one more, summary number 5063, introduced by the parish president, an ordinance providing for the inquiry of debt and
That's an ordinance.
No,
oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
you were right, Mr.
Yeah, you were right, Lloyd.
Second.
Good. I have a motion by Lloyd,
Second.
second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, so be it. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate that. I was ahead of myself. Ordinance introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 5063, introduced by the parish president. An ordinance providing for the inquiry of debt and issuance of limited tax revenue refunding bond of Parish of Iberia, State of Louisiana, prescribing the form, terms, and conditions of said bonds, providing for the acceptance of an offer for the purchase of said bonds, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. I need a motion. Second.
Move.
Motion by Paul,
Second.
second by Michael. Comments? I think we have Jason Akers here to explain a little bit about the bond. Jason, I'll go ahead and give you the floor for explanation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, council members. Jason Akers with Foley and Udell. Your bond counsel with me, David Medlin from Government Consultants, your municipal advisor. Kind of just backing up to the genesis of this was a resolution that you approved a few months ago that authorized us to make application to the State Bond Commission for refunding certain outstanding bonds that are payable out of the general fund, and looking at the opportunity to realize some debt service relief as a result of that refunding. Right now, you have 3 different series of bonds that are payable out of that general fund. There was a 2012 series, a 2015 series, and a 2016 series. The 2012 series is not callable until 2022, which means that you actually can't repay it until 2022. The 2015 series is callable now, which means we could repay it at any time. And the 2016 series is not callable, actually. That was a short term. It only goes through 2023, so it's not callable whatsoever. We actually approached both the owners of the 2012s and the 2016s, those are the 2 that aren't currently callable, and requested that they waive call protection and allow us to consider a refinancing. There's no guarantee it would be successful. The owners of the 2012 bonds, which was Regions Bank, agreed to do so, and the owners of the 2016 bonds, which was Chase, refused. So before you, with that knowledge, we actually went to the market and requested bids for the purchase of bonds to refinance and extend the 2012s and the 2015s. And those bids came in, and the bid that we would recommend you accepting, David and I would, is bid from Hancock Bank, which was at a 1.975% interest rate. Just for record, the interest rate on the 2012s is 3.04, and the 2015s was 2.4. So we're lowering that to a 1.975%, subject to potential adjustment prior to closing. That's not an unusual term. The difference is a savings because we're going to extend that final maturity, the savings in your upcoming fiscal year, 2021, is roughly $925,000 in the general fund. Similar savings in 2022. In 2023, the savings goes down a little bit, but the debt service of the 2016 falls off in that 2023 year. So your net is not a very significant change at that point. What this ordinance does with your approval is authorizes us to refinance the 2012s and 2015s with this acceptance. It is not the only thing that we're looking at for you. There is still an opportunity. We don't want to close the door on being able to do something with the 2016s. And so that is something that's out there that we can continue to look at. But by adopting this resolution, you do not preclude other opportunities presenting themselves to you. This is merely what we think is the best opportunity for you to refinance the 2012s and the 2015s and realize some immediate savings as you move into your next fiscal year. Overall, even despite the extension of the final maturity, whenever we look at a refunding opportunity, we look at it from a present value savings, which takes into account the time factor of money. So in other words, saving $100 in the next year is worth a lot more to you than saving $100 12 years down the road, right? So it's worth more on the front end. When we do a present value savings analysis of this transaction, the benefit is actually a net savings of $120,000 over the entire life. So even though you are extending the final maturity, your net benefit is actually an overall savings as a result of the transaction. With the approval of the ordinance, you authorize the acceptance of the bid from Hancock Whitney Bank. We'll move to closing on or before December 15th. in accordance with the terms of the purchase commitment. We'll be preparing documents in the meantime. We'll have them for signature. And then from your perspective, this is your final approval, but there's still documents and other things that we have to do in order to comply with the terms of the purchase commitment. That's our job, and that's where we take and run with from here. So that's an awful lot, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions, and I'm sure that David would be as well.
We have a question from Brian.
So, for the record, would you explain what's included in these bonds?
As far as the projects, the 2012 bonds were part of the Cajun Riviera project. The 2015 bonds were 2015 bonds were actually refinancing of the of road improvement projects in 2008.
And how long is it gonna extend? How long is this bond gonna be extended?
Till 2032. Final maturity in 2032, which is only 5 years beyond the current final maturity, and within the time frame within which you could have financed these projects on the front end.
I just want, that's a lot to take in. The Cajun Riviera was supposed to be paid out when?
2027.
2027?
Yes.
So it's gonna extend it another 5 years,
Yes.
right? And so you're saying, so we're gonna have some significant savings the first 3 years, if I understood you, right?
Yeah, you'll actually have dollar for dollar savings through
So compared to
2027.
what we paying next year, we're gonna save almost $1 million in that payment. I think
In
it's
those
what,
two payments.
Like 400,000 or something like that we were paying a year?
No, on those bonds? No, those two bonds
No,
were,
no, just the Riviera.
oh, just the Riviera, it was, let me see if we have,
Just
I-
about,
actually-
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
understand.
Roughly 422.
okay, roughly 420. So,
Okay, so we would save, but if we combine them, we'd save that much. And then after that, it goes back to normal, more or less normal payments that we paying now after 3 years?
Actually, after, you start paying principal again after 3 years in 2023, but the payments don't get back up to the entire level where they were. You were paying over $1 million combined in the 12s and the 15s. That number is going to settle in at about $750,000 after the first couple of years.
Okay, I'll reserve for now.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone
Sure.
else?
Yeah.
Warren?
Jason, we kind of briefly talked in the back before the meeting. Let me ask you a question, and I know you deal with a lot of parish governments across the state. Majority of them are experiencing kind of what we are, but not as in bad shape as we are in, correct?
There are a lot of lot of governments, parish and municipal, that are experiencing really hard times right now, yes.
If you had to rate Iberia Parish, where would we be at the top of that chain as far as how bad a condition we're in? I hate to put you on the spot, but I want them, the public to understand where we are.
Mhm. No, I get it. This is certainly without any sort of empirical study, but this is a more dire situation here because of multiple impacts that you're experiencing through really, very little fault of your own.
We limited on what we can do and who's reached out in interest, correct? How many people have come to the table to want to accept this offer?
We had one bid that was submitted. We had others that considered. There was an RFP that was submitted to a number of banks. David, what was the total number?
31.
To 31 banks. Now, some of those we know aren't interested in purchasing this type, but we always want to make sure they're included. We had one bid. It is, however, as we would say, it's a bid that would beat market. I mean, this is a less than 2% for a 12-year term, and
So
we're seeing that as very positive.
31 potential, and one decided out of 31. Could we say, is that because of the financial position of the government?
I don't think we could make that as a blanket statement. Yeah, I'm sorry. I
All
don't
right,
know if
I
you're
just,
probably not prepared to.
you know, I mean, I understand some relief that we'll see in this, but I'm not certain this is enough relief.
You don't have one. I'm sorry.
I hear the relief and I see it in the numbers, but I don't think it's enough. And I actually, and I'm gonna ask you on the record tonight, is if we fail to make any action tonight, this deal walks, correct?
You do not have a binding commitment if you do not accept it tonight. Correct. But that is, however, why I wanted to be clear that this is an opportunity that is only limited to refinancing the 2012s and 2015s. This is not the end of the opportunities that are there, and things that will, you know, to the extent requested, we'd love to continue working with you on.
No, of course. And no, nothing aimed towards you. I
Oh,
just,
I know, certainly.
you know, we've talked about this. We talked about if we didn't change the path we were on, we were gonna run into issues in 2020. And we're here. I just, it's a scary feeling. I mean, Paul kind of talked on it in the comment section, but I mean, this is a tough vote for me tonight because if I do nothing, I change nothing. And if I do something, it's still not enough. So we still have to look within the budget process to make up for the difference that down the road that we won't have, that we'll need. So I'll yield to like Brian. I appreciate your hard work and what you've done, Jason. And this is scary.
Well, I appreciate that. I certainly want to state that it wasn't my effort alone.
No.
You know, David's been here, and Kimberly has really helped us out throughout the process and been really responsible for a great part of it too. So we appreciate her.
You done, Warren?
Yes, sir.
Jason, just to clarify, of course, we're gonna be lowering our debt service about $925,000 a year
Yeah,
by
yes.
refinancing. And long-term, by the year 2032, we're actually gonna save the parish $120,000 overall.
The net benefit is
Net benefit,
$120,000.
based on what we're
Yes.
costing us now for the debt, we're gonna save the parish $120,000,
Yes.
right? Okay, thank you. Brian?
So that made me think of something. I'm just trying to understand what he just said, that even though we're gonna extend this for 5 years, past 2028, right?
Mhm.
And we're gonna pay an extra 5 years, whatever that yearly is, from now till then, even with all the added interest and all that, how can that be? I mean,
It's-
we're gonna save.
You want to address it? Yeah, it's a net
It's
present
interest
value.
rate.
Come to the. David.
Major factor is you're going from
It's a lower rate.
2.4% rate and a 3.05% rate to a 1.97% rate. So that's huge savings there. And further, that savings he's talking about, 120, considers the time value of money, not just the mathematical collection calculation. So
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate it. And look, this will be it for me. I'm like Warren. I'm tell you, I came in here, I was very skeptical about supporting this, you know, just because, and one is the RV park. Look, none of us, well, some of us were here when all that took place, but there was a lot of things said about that, about the way it was done and all that, and that, you know, to sit here and say, you know, and people out there wanting to make this thing go away, the RV park, the cost of it and all that, and now we're gonna extend that, you know, that was one of the main problems I have. But all said, and with everything Paul Warren said, you know, that, hey, if we do nothing, where are we? You know, you know, the ones that's been here, we knew this was coming. So reluctantly, I guess I'm gonna support it, but thank you guys for
Oh, sure.
all y'all did
May I-
in administration.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you.
Mr. Chairman, may I just address one matter? And I should have mentioned this earlier, so apologies for not doing so. I think we all went into it with a cautious eye with an extension. So one of the things that David and I were able to do is to negotiate in an earlier redemption period than normal, so that beginning 2025, you can actually start paying these bonds off without any penalty whatsoever. So to the extent that this is a tool to get through get through fiscal years until you get to a more profitable time, prosperous, that's the word I'm looking for, a more prosperous time, then you can actually start paying back earlier without any penalty, and hopefully be able to get to a retirement at the, close to the planned 2027 anyway. Just want to note that that is a possibility out there that we were able to negotiate in for you.
Okay, Scott, do you have a question?
Yeah, just curious, the current value, principal and interest of the 2 series bonds, if we paid in 2027, do you know what we have left?
Your total P&I requirements for both of those series through 2027 would be $7,370,000.
And stretch it out to 2032.
That would be $7,771,000. So it's about a dollar for dollar, $400,000. It is an increase, but then it goes back to the time value of money.
I
Yeah.
just wanted
Yeah.
to state it
Mhm.
so everybody does
Yeah.
understand that we are increasing taxpayer amount over 10 years. Well,
That's
75
right.
years.
Yeah.
That's right.
Extended time.
The time value, I get that.
Mhm.
Also, I get that.
Yeah.
For the record.
I want to remind my colleagues on the councils, please speak into the mic, and Brenda has to do the minutes. She has to clearly understand y'all.
Yeah, and the reason
We're making
behind-
faces
yeah,
behind you.
That's why we
Yeah,
should.
that's all I wanted, but I'm in the same position where we almost have to vote, I get it. But I just wanted to correct that, I'm extremely not comfortable. No. But why paying attention to what it is? I'm done.
Okay. Michael?
Just to talk, and I want to thank y'all for really what y'all have done. I don't think all our problems is the way we budgeted things. I know since I've been on this council, we've done everything we could. COVID came along and none of us was expecting it, and it dropped out of the blue. And it really affected a lot of the way we do business around here. So I'm going along with it, maybe not reluctantly, but we facing some tough times. And if we think that we haven't budgeted right through the years, I can't see it since I've been on this council. We've made some cuts that nobody wanted to
It's
make.
been going down since before COVID.
Yeah, but COVID knocked the bottom out of it. So that's my thing. And I don't think we're going to blame it on anybody or anything. We have something that didn't happen. And we need to address it, and I hope we can. So that's my comment.
Eugene,
Paul?
I was going to ask you how soon we could start making extra payments, so 2025 is a good year. That's not very far. So 2021 and 2022, we wouldn't have any principal payments. We would just have the interest payments.
In 21 and 22, that's correct.
Okay. Okay. And the road was about 800,000, and ORV was 4, so 1.2. So that, yeah, 925 would really help us. Thank y'all for your hard work, I appreciate everything y'all did. And I guess I would like to tell the colleagues that there's only 11 of us here today, and we really need to get this passed. So, we need 8 votes. We really need to think about this. This can do big for our budget. If it fails, I don't even want to think about it.
Okay, thank you, Paul. I agree with you. Any other comments?
If we're closing, I'd like to, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Mike said, we're not blaming anyone, and we're not. I mean, what we've done in the past is done, and we've got to get through today. I do think some of it is budgeting. And it's not, it doesn't fall down to one person, it falls us as a body and assembly. But I do want us to remember down the road, when things do get better, to look back at the place that we were in, near rock bottom, and remember that down the road that we have to save, we have to be better, and just because we have a good fund balance doesn't mean we can't spend through it. You know, this is a hard decision, Paul. I mean, it is. I mean, I don't want to support it, but I feel like if we don't do it tonight, then we're further deep than what we are today. But this does, you agree, this doesn't solve the problem.
Absolutely not.
I agree with you, but the problem, you know, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. At least it's a big start. You know, 925, and I'm not even talking about racehorses.
Is that a Drew Brees thing?
But I just, you know, we've looked at the budget and we've said, let's take out 10,000 here, let's take 5,000. Here we have an opportunity to save 925,000 for 2 years. I think it, I think, to me, I think we have no choice but to do this.
Well, let me just say, it's complimentary to be able to be on the same page and agree on some things when we come to the fiscal of this parish, and I guess I'll support it tonight, Mr. Eugene, but not with a small.
Thank you, Warren. Any other comments? Larry?
Well, the only thing I want to say is we have very good discussion going on about the finances in Iberia Parish, and everyone is correct. This is something that we have been looking at for years. I mean, when we took over, I guess in 2016, for the people that's here, and, you know, I'm not going to go through the whole budget right now, but, you know, you just take the royalty fund alone. We only was receiving a bit over $1 million a year. And this year, in royalty fund, we're going to receive, hopefully, $300,000. You know, so not due to any one particular budget we have done over the last 4.5 years, almost 5 years. It's just that the debt service that we have is just simply a bit much for what we have. Now, we can continue to cut employees and cut services, and we're having a great conversation. So we just need to pay attention to everything that's being said tonight moving forward. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Okay, if y'all ready, we're going to go ahead and vote by roll call to make sure I get this right. Lloyd, your vote? Yea. Tommy?
Yes.
Tommy's yes. Warren?
Yes.
Michael?
Yea.
Michael, yes. Chad? Yea. Chad's yea. Eugene's yea.
Yay.
Brad?
Yay.
Paul, yea. James?
Yes.
James, yea. Brian?
Yeah.
Brian's yea. Scott?
Yeah, it's hard to say, yeah.
Scott, yea. Motion carries. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. It's always a pleasure. Appreciate it.
Moving on to resolution introduced for public hearing and adoptions. Summary number 163, introduced by the clerk of the council. A resolution appointing Mr. Jerome Buddy Smith to the Iberia Parish Communication District Board, representing the new Iberia Fire Department, for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term by Mr. Jerome Buddy Smith, whose term expired March the 10th, 2021.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Warren,
Second.
second by Brian.
I'll waive.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Smith.
Thank you all.
Thank you for your service. Summary number 164, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 general fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Moved by Lloyd.
Second.
Second by Michael. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Any nays? Ayes have it. Summary number 165, introduced by the parish president, a resolution amending the 2020-16 judicial junior witness fee fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Need a motion, second. Motion by Scott. Second by Lloyd. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 166, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Road District Number 10 Maintenance Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Moved by Mike. Need a second. Second by Lloyd. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 167, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 parish-wide drainage maintenance fund budget to provide for a year-end adjustment. Moved by Lloyd. Need a second.
Second.
Second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 168, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Public Library Board Fund budget to provide for a year-end adjustment. Motion and a second. Moved by Paul. Need a second.
Second.
By Michael. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 169, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2025 District Number 1 Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Motion and second. Moved by Paul. Need a second.
Second.
Second by Michael. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 170, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Iberia Parish Rabies Control Program Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Motion by Lloyd. Need a second. Second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 171, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Iberia Parish Health Unit Maintenance Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Lloyd. Second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 172, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Economic Development District Fund budget to provide for a year-end adjustment. Need a motion and a second. Motion by Lloyd. Need a second. Second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 173, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Solid Waste Sales Tax Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Moved by Michael. Need a second. Second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 174, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Mosquito Control Drainage Improvement Sales Tax Fund budget to provide for a year-end adjustment. Moved by Lloyd. Need a second. Second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, so be. Summary number 175, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Iberia Parish Communication District Commission Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Moved by Lloyd. Need a second. Second by
Mr. Chairman.
Michael.
I
Yes,
have
sir.
a question maybe for legal. Andy, can we accept these, if there's no changes that want to be made, can we accept these in the form of a motion to include all items instead of going through them individually? Or do you rather us continue to do it?
I think Kimberly would rather you continue to
Okay.
do it, because each one is a separate budget within your overall budget.
That's not a problem. Okay. I just want to make sure.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 176, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Iberia Parish Disaster Relief Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Need a motion in a second. Moved by Lloyd, or moved by Scott.
No, Lloyd and Scott second.
Lloyd first, Lloyd moved, Scott second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 177, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Public Building Maintenance Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustment. Need a motion and a second.
Move.
Moved by Paul, need a second by Lloyd. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 178, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 HUD Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program Fund budget to provide for a year-end adjustment. Need a motion by Michael, need a second.
Second.
Second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 179, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Recreation and Playground Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Need a motion and a second. Moved by Lloyd, second by
Second.
James. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 180, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Iberia Parish Tourist Commission Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Moved by Scott, need a second.
Second.
Second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 181, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Industrial Development Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Need a motion and a second. Moved by Paul. Second by Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carried. Summary number 182, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Bond Redemption Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustment. Moved by Lloyd, need a second. Second by James. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carried. Summary number 183, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Public Library Shrinking Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Need a motion by Lloyd, need a second.
Second.
Second,
Scott.
second by Paul.
Scott.
Scott, I'm sorry, second by Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 184, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Royalty Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustment. Need a motion by Lloyd, need a second.
Second.
Second by Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 185, introduced by the parish president. Resolution amending the 2020 Texaco Royalty Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Moved by Lloyd, need a second by Scott. Who?
James.
Who that, James? James.
Jesus Christ.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 186, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Road Construction Project Fund budget to provide for a year-end adjustment. Need a motion by Lloyd, need a second. Second by Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Summary number 187, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Communication Development Block Grant Fund budget to provide for a year-end adjustment. Motion by Lloyd, need a second. Second by Michael. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 188, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Sewer District Number 1 Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Moved by James, second by Lloyd. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 189, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Sewer District Number 1 Port of Iberia Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustment. Need a motion and a second.
Move.
Moved by Warren, second by Scott. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 190, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Iberia Parish Airport Authority Fund budget to provide for a year-end adjustment. Moved by Scott, need a second.
Second.
Second by James. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 191, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Acadia County Fairground Commission Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments. Motion in a second. Moved by Michael, second by James. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 192, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 Unemployment Compensation Fund budget to provide for year-end adjustment. Need a motion in a second. Moved by Scott, second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 193, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 non-applicable library trust fund budget to provide for year-end adjustments.
Expendable.
Moved by Lloyd. Need a second.
Second.
Second by Paul.
Mr. Chairman.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
If you could
Nays?
get Lord a bottle of water before the end of this, it's getting cotton mouth back here.
Motion carries. I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by, to adjourn by Warren. Second by Paul. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Straight to committee?
Meeting-